Well, I have a story. I may have told this before, but it just occurred to me that you've met my dog Rosa, and she's named for Rosa Luxemburg, and she's not aggressive. She's never attacked anyone. And I was walking through the park in Toronto near my home. Luckily, she was on leash, and there was a couple there kicking a soccer ball back and forth. And suddenly, she lunged at the male. She lunged at the guy. Did I tell you this? Tried to bite him, and I just held on to her, but I couldn't believe it. She's never tried to bite anyone. And I was going to say sorry, and then the woman yelled something unpleasant at me, so that got me pissed off. And then I looked a little closer, and I realized it was Avi Lewis and Naomi Klein. And Rosa tried to bite them.
Huh.
And I couldn't, and all I could think of is, like, Rosa Luxemburg was murdered by the Social Democrats. That's who gave the order to kill. I mean, the Freikorps did it, but it was the Social Democrats that actually gave the order. And what are Naomi and Avi if not Social Democratic aristocracy?
And you think Rosa?
I think my dog sensed that these people were the people that had her namesake murdered. And it's the only aggression I've ever seen her show. I'd like to take her to a Social Democratic NDP gathering and see if she tried to bite anyone else.
That's very interesting.
I know.
I mean, dogs have amazing sensibility.
They do.
Some, I mean, they train dogs to sniff out cancer. You know, that cannot
That's
be
right.
That cannot be recognized by scientific methods at this point.
Yeah.
And we should maybe the U.S. military picks up on that. Might not be good, but there could be dogs that sniff out political positions that people have, and
political lineages and stuff. She did another thing. It wasn't so quite so dramatic. There was a bunch of teenagers sitting on a picnic table, and Rosa always goes up and sniffs if they have any food, right? So she was sniffing all their backpacks, and then one of the kids said, "What's she looking for?" And I said, "Oh, she's. I just brought her home. She's been working all day. She's a drug sniffing dog up at the airport." And they all grabbed their packs and ran. Cleared the whole table off with 8 of them.
Well, I understand you painting such a positive image of your dog, but I remember at least 2 other instances where Rosa attacked
People?
smaller animals.
Oh,
Even
rabbits.
worse.
Cats and rabbits. Wow.
She killed a rabbit,
Killed a rabbit.
and she almost killed a cat, but thankfully
$500 brought it back to life in the emergency vet.
your $500.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you don't really want. You can't expect to get the full scoop from the owner.
I think it was the Social Democratic cat. That was my sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is she more sensitive towards Social Democrats than more right-wing kind of?
Well, it's that thing. I mean, she was murdered by the Freikorps under orders from the SPD. So, who do you blame, the right or the left? I mean, they're equally complicit. Equally responsible. So Rosa hates fascists and Social Democrats equally. And other than that, she's fairly easygoing.
Well, that's certainly an interesting contribution to the study of politics, global and other.
I would have liked to have seen her and Naomi get into it, because I think they're both like alpha females. Avi and I would have both stood back and watched.
Yeah.
That was my guess. But I didn't think that was a good idea to go through with it. So I held her on the leash.
That was smart. Yeah. Aren't you a bit harsh on Naomi Klein?
Well,
she herself is a pretty harsh critic of certainly the U.S. establishment. That's where she mostly is active now.
yeah.
And
Yeah. Well, I respect the fact that she introduced, when she became editor of this magazine, she introduced internships, which of course are unpaid labor positions, where most of the left condemns internships for what they are. I mean, getting people to work for free. Naomi actually brought those in and made those a central point. Like, I think, personally, I've been thinking it'd be much better if Patrick and and I were interns, because they'd still do the work, but we wouldn't have to pay anything.
All right.
And that's very much within the Naomi Klein model.
That's a very progressive idea then.
It must be, because this magazine was run on that model for a while. Sita's teaching 320. She could be doing that as an intern. We could mount all kinds of courses out of the global politics with interns. And they all get experience that they can put in their CV, and we don't have to pay them anything.
Right.
So
this has to be brought to the attention of the strikers at York. It's an idea I'm sure they would take to their status from poorly paid sessionals and unpaid teachers should be transformed on this magazine model.
Yeah, well, Naomi did it. She's her innovation. So I don't know why people don't talk about that. I think it's a great model for neoliberal capitalism.
Yeah.
Replace paid labor with... what they used to have another name for it when you got people to work for free for you because they didn't have any other option. Slavery. That's right. But that may not be the right word now.
No.
It's so hard to remember which words are the right ones.